Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Hard Nine podcast. Today is April the 10th. The Cardinals are heading back to St. Louis after a 1-5 road trip. And one thing we know about the 2026 or 25 baseball season is that the Minnesota Twins have to be the worst team ever assembled.
Yeah. They are 4-8, so not a good start for them. Let me do some quick math here. Since the Minnesota Twins series, where we were all excited because they swept the opening series of the year for the first time in a while, they have lost three series in a row. Four, six, seven. They've have seven losses since then, right? And they
Mm-hmm.
have three wins. No, two wins. The 2-7
2 wins.
since the opening series.
Correct. Correct. And if we it does feel like a couple things. I predicted 78 wins. That seems way too high. But two, I also we talked about on here, the one thing that is absolutely awful that was never addressed and just allowed to fester is the rotation and the stat. Honestly, the entire pitching staff. Obviously Helsley's had a couple hiccups, but overall, we understand he's Ryan Helsley. I get that, but he also did cost him a game massively where he couldn't even come close to throwing a strike.
That's
And
baseball, though.
it is. I understand that, but that's part of what goes in there. But when you look at this rotation, and I know Fetty was very good, and we'll talk about him a little bit later. I'd like to at least. And we know that Sonny was fine, and Palante got through what he got through on Boston. I didn't think he looked very good. However, the results were a little bit
Betty
better
was
for
awful
him.
in Boston.
Yeah, me too. Okay, good, good.
He
Yeah,
gave
I
no, he
was
gave
trying
up
to
like
be.
8 runs in like 2 innings.
I didn't think it was Palante.
Oh, they said Fetty. No,
No,
Palante
no,
was
no, no.
fine.
I said we get to Fetty later. I said Palante in Boston got through, I think, 5 1/3, maybe 5 2/3. I don't remember what the number was, but I didn't think overall he wasn't efficient with his pitching. The last two, you might as well just take an L every day when Miles Michaelis and Matthew Liberatore take them out. And I know, I just don't know what else to say about that. That's out of 5 starts, you're going to lose two every time those two take the bump. And I hate that. I wanted Libby to be good. We knew Miles sucked.
I
Everybody
wouldn't
knows
say that
Miles
about Libby
sucked.
yet.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say that
that's
about Libby
that's
yet.
fine. But what I see, and I understand that, and that is very valid. But I want to get your take on this. But what I see is the same old Libby that we've always seen when he starts. No,
Yeah, I mean,
nothing different.
here's what they did. Like one, this hurts their bullpen too. Libby's bad against right-handed pitch on batters.
Yeah,
So if you start him in a game, the other team knows that. So they're going to put right-handed batters in, and he's screwed. Why does my hat look like Fernando Rodney?
a little
Um,
bit, a little bit.
uh, um, so it's just stupid to me. Like I don't understand why. And let's give Libby a month. Like he's young. At least he's young. Michaelis, we know what Michaelis is. Like he's
Yeah,
not good, and he's throwing 90. Like he was bad last year. He was throwing 94. He's throwing like 90 now, and they had in the post game. Michaelis said, "Well, there's really not much you can do some days," and I don't know if that meant that weak contact or just meant that he knows he can't get anyone out. I mean, whatever. He's not lying. There's nothing he can do. And Ollie he's on the Gas House Gang, a KMOX show every Tuesday now for 30 minutes. And he basically sounds like he's just having to throw him out there. Like that's just what it is because he has a contract. Like he didn't have anything that was optimistic to say about Miles Michaelis.
what could he say? Like, there's nothing. Like, we're not dumb. Like, you can't insult our intelligence and try
Why
to
is he
tell us.
starting?
I. It sounds like that's been directed by either Mo or someone else that we're paying him. He's going out there every day. So here's my question to you, and we can break down the games, and that's fine. There's a lot to get to from the last two series. We were kind of riding the high, and then the rug has been pulled out behind or underneath us. So we figured we might as well just get all this together with one episode. So it is nice to be back. Thank you for asking. We did have people asking, where are you guys? If you are watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. If you're watching or listening anywhere else, please hit the follow button, or did I get that backwards? Whatever it is, we'd appreciate that you would hit that button to subscribe and join our pod. We
Hit
greatly
every button you
appreciate that.
see.
Hit every button, right? Everyone
Except for the
except the
dislike.
delete button. But it is I it is mind numbing to me that, and you and I talked about this either on the last pod or one before that okay, we're not hitting the reset button. We're trying to win with what we have, but yet we're forcing guys to start that you're never, ever, ever going to win with. So really, like, if you're a fan, and we are, but if you're a fan of the Cardinals and you wonder why no one's going to the games, they're not dumb. You can't tell us you're trying to win and then us have this pitching staff assembled. First three, I understand Fetty and Palante. No problems there. And I understand that
I
you
don't.
want to. Okay, well,
I
we
don't
can
understand
talk.
why Eric Fetty's still a part of this
Yes,
team.
but if you're going to say we're winning, that's all I'm going by is that
I
premise.
guess.
But Matthew Liberatore should be in the bullpen. We could argue that the Steven Matz contract, I know the money wasn't bad, but that's the worst 4 years. He shouldn't be on this team. He can't get anybody out. I don't understand
I mean,
this.
he's been
Like
fine in the bullpen so far, but yeah. I
he
mean,
is below average at best. Below average at best.
you know, the thing that's so frustrating about that is they have two bad pitching contracts currently. Rotation guys they thought were going to be starting pitchers for them with Matz and Michaelis, and they're still pitching the wrong one. Like I'd much rather have Matz in my rotation. It's not even the close either. Can I give you some stats real quick?
Please.
Just okay. If I were to tell you before the season started that the Cardinals would be second in Major League Baseball in batting average, okay, that they would be second in on base percentage, that they would be fourth in on OPS in all of baseball, by the way, through what how many games did they play? 12? Through 12 games. What do you think their record would be?
I would think 6-6 because, and I'll be honest, because the pitching is terrible. I don't like. I was talking to a couple buddies the other day about this. The one thing that scares the shit out of me, and we've seen it in the past with the Cardinals and other teams, but we focus mainly on the Cardinals, is that the offense is now. I worry that you're going to start seeing them press because they scored 9 runs against Boston and got torched. Like
Yep.
I don't know what like I just don't know what to say. And obviously yesterday they come out and look like as flat as you can look. That's baseball. I get it,
Yeah.
whatever.
That's getaway
But
day baseball.
I understand all of that. However, like that's honestly I would say 500, which would have exceeded my expectations simply because I have. If we're back in the boat where our starters go 5 innings and our bullpen's not good. Like Chris Roycroft, we were seeing him touting his praises a week and a half ago. I don't know if you could count the outs on less than one hand that he's gotten in the last week. He is abysmal, and you couldn't count the earned runs on your hands and your toes. Like and obviously sent down today. We do know that, but I have zero faith of anyone who goes in on the bump. Zero. I have a little bit. Wow, that's zero. Let's leave it at that. I have zero faith on anyone who goes out there that throws a baseball for the Cardinals.
Yeah, I think Sonny's been pretty good, but outside of him, I agree. Well, and I still have faith in Palante's out there. He's been fine. What do you think where do you think the Cardinals rank in ERA in baseball out of
They
teams?
have to be near the bottom.
Give me a number out of 30.
27.
30th.
Okay. So
5.24 ERA
I mean
in 12 games.
that's
I mean, that's unbelievable. And I think and honestly,
They
I think
gave
their
up. Hold
rotation
on.
ERA is like
That's with
middle of the
them
pack.
giving up one yesterday. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. That's with them giving up one yesterday. That's factored in
Actually, they gave up
in
zero
12
earned runs
innings.
yesterday. They gave up zero earned run yesterday in
Oh,
13
okay.
innings.
0 in 12 innings. A game and a
13.
third.
13
Sorry, a
innings,
game
zero
and a
earned runs.
half.
Because both those runs that scored right were in extra innings, and those aren't earned runs. So,
Okay.
yeah, so they went 13 shutout innings to get to still be 30th in baseball.
Yep.
Um,
Is it? Can I ask
well, I
you a
guess it's
question since
technically
you have
12
that pulled
innings
up?
because
Is
yeah,
anyone close? Like, is there? Are we?
yeah, the Brewers are
Okay.
like so the Cardinals are at 5.24, Brewers are at 5.21, and
Okay.
then in the illustrious 28th place is your Colorado Rockies at 5.16. Who, by the way, have played like 8 home games and still have a lower ERA than you when
In
they
this,
play at
and
Coors Field.
it now was in the snow, but yes, agreed. Yeah, no, I just, and this was the one thing that I said coming in that concerned me, and it's come to like it's even worse than what I thought. Ryan Fernandez has regressed. I don't know what's going on there. Like,
I actually have
I don't know what's going on with any of
some
them.
positive things on Ryan Fernandez.
Okay,
He
that's what I
looked
like to hear.
he looked great yesterday. Against the Pirates. I think his slider was just not it just wasn't good to start the year. He had said he lost his feel for it. Yesterday he struck out the side in Pittsburgh in the ninth inning to send it to extra innings. He looked fantastic. So there's the ninth. Yeah, I think it was the ninth. He looked really good. I think he'll be fine. I don't think he's going to be what he was last year, but like we can't expect that. The thing that we were coming into the year that we were like, okay, the bullpen could be really good because you look at it, Leahy's been great so far, so we got to give him his flowers. He's been really good.
Mayton's been good.
Mayton's been awesome. Hasn't allowed an earned run
Yeah.
yet.
Yep.
JoJo's been solid. Like not. I don't think JoJo's really. I don't think he's a dominant reliever. I think some of that was luck last year to start the year, but I think he's definitely a serviceable seventh inning guy. And Helsley, I have all the faith in the world in Ryan Helsley. He had one bad outing, whatever. Everybody else is bad. Like John King has never been good. I've said this for
Never
two
been good.
years.
No.
Like he's TJ McFarland, but throws a little bit harder.
He should
And
be
if you
okay.
get
That should be
lucky,
Matthew Libertor, Caleb. That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
That should be the other lefty in that
Why is Michael
bullpen.
McGreevy not up here?
Right. And also, could you argue the fact like I don't know what we have? I'm not. Kareem will tell us, and thank you, Kareem, for always telling me what I need to know. I don't know if there's a guy at Memphis who is in the bullpen that can come up and help. I don't know. I don't know what happened to Riley O'Brien. That's on me. I haven't looked it up, but I
I
do
think
know that was
he,
the guy that they were really
yeah.
hopeful for when we got him, and he hasn't really panned out. I don't know if that's an injury. I honestly don't know, so I'm coming out of ignorance there. But maybe Kareem can tell us, or somebody else can tell us if there's somebody at Memphis that can come up and help this bullpen. I know they called up what is his name, Lopez
Roddery Munoz.
Munoz. I was close. I was
That'd
close. Maybe he's the guy. Maybe he's the Luis Garcia
be
that
great.
we need.
Oh, I miss Luis Garcia so much. I miss that guy every day I wake up.
Say
But I loved him. He was awesome.
he was.
And he was also a nice guy. I I don't know why the bullpen's been so bad. Like you look at Chris Roycroft, his sinker's like moving like 8 inches less than it did last year. How does that
But
happen?
I think you do know part of that.
It was
We're
good
once
last
again.
year.
I understand, but we're back to where they're throwing our bullpen's throwing 4 or 5 innings a night. That's why. I mean, we're back in
That's
the
not an
exact. And I understand.
excuse. That's not an excuse, man. Do your job. They
Okay,
need to get 3 outs.
I don't
Like,
understand
and they
how we
can't
don't
do
have
it.
3 starters that can't go 6 innings every night. Give me two. Give me
It's
two.
early in the season. That's part of it. It's been cold everywhere they've been. Like that is part of it. Like Sonny could have gone more than 6 innings last start. They took him out because it was I don't know it was like 40 degrees in Pittsburgh and they were facing Paul Skeens that had 5 runs. Like that's why those are reasons. And it's early in the season. You don't want to rush a guy one
I
more
get it,
inning. Like you should be able to trust one of your relievers to go out there and give you 3 outs.
but we can't. Let me ask you this because I was at work and I was just kind of following along. Can you give me the update on why Fetty was pulled yesterday in the sixth with a no-no? Like I'm asking because I didn't do any reading. I came home, watched that abysmal Blues game, and then I went to bed and I got up
That
and
was
I
a good
walked
game.
it was a good game, but it was a terrible ending. Bennington's glove side was bad all night long. We can talk about that later. But
No, that was not
um,
his fault.
I didn't say that it
Cam
was.
Fowler missed an assignment right in front of the net with
Correct.
12 seconds left. How does that happen?
Anyway, they were beating him glove side all night. He was lucky it wasn't 8-2 or 8-3.
They
But
were all tips. No, you're gonna piss me off. What do you
but
want him to do? What do you
but
want him to do?
I am generally asking because I wasn't watching the game. I was at work. So what was the reasoning for that?
I think he'd walked the leadoff man 3 innings in a row.
Okay.
And he had 4 walks on the night. He didn't look I tweeted this out. I don't think like Derek Gold called it a pitcher's duel because technically it was. I said I think it was more like an offensive boycott than it was a pitcher's duel. He did not look good. And
Okay.
he pitched well, the numbers were good, that's fine. But he also was at a pitch count to where he wasn't getting the no-hitter. Like he wasn't going to go 9 innings. So that
86
shouldn't
or
have even been a
88,
concern.
somewhere
Yeah,
in
and
that area.
after the 6th inning, like he's not going to throw
Yeah.
120 pitches. Like they're not going to do that. So I thought it was the right move. And I saw people were complaining about this. First off, it fucking worked, guys. Like they got to the 10th, 11th inning without allowing a run. So it
Right.
worked. I don't think and like what you wanted Ollie to predict this game was going 13 innings. If imagine if Ollie kept Fetty in the 8th inning or something, he gave up a run and he came into the post game and said, "I was trying to play for the 13th inning."
Right. Right.
Like you would be like, "What are you talking about?" He doesn't have a crystal ball. He didn't think he was going to have to use every reliever in his bullpen besides John King. So that's why like he didn't look especially sharp. I don't understand. The Cardinals are so frustrating because not only do they have pitchers that don't have good stuff, that are like not strikeout guys that aren't gonna go blow anything by you. But these guys also don't they can't throw strikes. Like why is Eric Fetty walking for people? You don't strike anybody out, but he also can't locate his 92 mile per hour fastball.
Which does take me back to the question I posed earlier. What was it that the front office and the management saw that said we can compete with the group of pitchers, that we have assembled? That's what I want to know. Like I want someone to ask and I want an answer on that question other than, oh, we thought they could get us through, which is what they're going to tell
I
you.
have an answer.
But okay.
If the starting pitching and relief pitching did the exact same thing they did last year, they'd probably have 2 losses right now, given what the offense has done. Maybe one. So genuine, like they might be undefeated. So if you were coming to the season and you were at the Cardinals and you're saying, if this rotation and this relief core just replicates what they did last year, which I think a lot of us thought was some of it was kind of lucky, like to be honest. Like Kyle Gibson and Lance Lynn, great on them. I know Lance just retired. There were some outings where they went five and gave up none, and nobody knew how it happened. But if that happened and your offense did this, because if they had this offense last year and they was performing like this, a top five offense in baseball, they would have won 90 games easily.
Yeah. Yeah, but I guess I just think of
That's the
when
answer.
we talked. Yeah, but we talked about it. Gibson and Lynn are gone, and Miles
Mhm.
Michaelis is still in there, who was hands down the. I think statistically he was the worst starting pitcher in Major League Baseball last year.
You want
He's
to hear
now
a
our number
wild
four,
stat?
huh?
You want to hear a wild stat about Miles Michaelis?
I
Guess what?
probably not.
The Cardinals were he was awful last year. We all know that. What do you think the Cardinals' record was when Miles Michaelis started
I
games last year?
have no clue.
They were 500.
That's by the luck of
That's crazy, isn't it?
yeah. That's
I don't know how that's a thing. That's so crazy to me. They had to win the games like 8-7.
what's also wild in the first part of the season. Cardinals 0-4 in extra innings. Wild that they played 4 extra inning games but haven't won, and 0-3 in one-run games. So neither of those bode well when
Well,
you're
actually,
trying to win games. They just don't.
I will say if you're an objective observer and you see those two stats you just brought out, those would both point towards positive progression, if you will. That would be a
Uh,
positive sign. Because remember a couple of years ago, the Padres had like a really bad first half. And they had like a historically bad record in 1 run games, which as we all know, like that's a 1 run game, like a line drive going to the second baseman with bases loaded or it going over his head from you winning that game. So there, and then the second half they took off because it was like this team's not as bad as they're playing now. So that is positive, but the one thing is they are giving up 5.24 runs a game. Like that's not a sign of anything good. So your offense is most likely overperforming because I do think this offense can be good. We need to get to Herrera in a little bit. That's a blow, but I think the offense overall will be a solid offense. Maybe it's top 10, maybe it's top 12. I don't know. But when if your offense is going to overperform the way it has for a 12-game stretch, you can't be 5-7 in that stretch.
no, no, no. And I apologize if you can hear this
I
guy
can't
who
hear it.
chooses, huh?
I can't hear it.
Okay, good. They're weed whacking right outside the window, and it takes. I've never seen somebody do it for so long in my life. Anyway, yeah, I guess I see no positive progression coming from anybody in this pitching staff. I hope I'm wrong. I will freely eat crow and freely admit it if I'm wrong, which I do hope. I just don't see it. I didn't see it coming into the season. I definitely don't see it now. I I don't. I just don't. I
You
don't
know
see it
what?
at all.
You know why I think the Cardinals, where they really shot themselves in the foot this year. We all coming into the year, I think we all would have said back in October when they said we're resetting, we're not going all in to win this year when they said that, which they never go all in, but whatever. Um, if they would have actually done the moves that made sense, let's say they trade Helsley, they trade Fetty, they tell Miles Michaelis to go away, or they just keep him to eat innings because they're not trying to win. That would have been fine too. And they have McGreevy in the rotation, Graceffo or whoever else it is, other than Matthews, because he's probably needs more time in AAA. Um, and the offense was showing like it is right now and all these young bats, Jordan Walker, Victor Scott, Mason Wynn's coming around. Ivan Herrera was awesome before he got injured. It's all looking. Donovan's been incredible. Nootbaar's been great. If all of that was happening, but we had it in our minds that hey, they're not trying to win this year. We just need to see what we have. The young rotations giving up some runs. That's fine. We expected that, and they had the same exact record. Everyone would be stoked. They'd be like, man, next year looks great. Like if Jordan Walker is this guy and Lars Nootbaar is this and Victor Scott is a legitimate good defensive center fielder that's going to bat 270 to 280 and has some pop. That's fantastic. We'd all be happy. But instead, what they did is they went in the middle. So now they have Miles Michaelis in the rotation. They have Nolan Arenado still at third base. Ryan Helsley's still our closer. Eric Fetty's still here. And now it's like if we don't make the playoffs, we can't even get a top 10 pick. And we're not giving all the young guys opportunity that needs it.
Correct. Correct.
So I
Let's
don't.
get to the injuries real quick. Gorman sent down with a hamstring injury that seems to be minor, hopefully, but it's a hamstring. You never know. And then obviously the blow was Ivan Herrera. That looked bad. I have they given an
Bone
update?
bruise.
Yeah, do you trust it? I don't know if I trust
Yeah.
it. Okay.
He was walking
Okay.
around after the game. So it wasn't like an
Okay,
ACL
that's
or
good.
anything.
When I'll be
He's out
honest,
for 4 weeks.
when they carried him off the field, I thought that's got ACL or MCL written all over it.
Yeah, I did too. And so apparently he's walking around on his own. He's fine. It's just a bone bruise. I don't know how you get a bone bruise from running. I'm not a doctor, but that sounds weird to me. Normally that's from like
Same.
blunt force trauma, I thought. But
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But they said 4 weeks, so I don't know if it's reevaluation in 4 weeks or if it's he could be returning to playing in 4 weeks, but overall positive. And shout out while we're on the Ivan Herrera topic. One, he's been awesome, and it sucks that his hot starts goes this way, especially for my fantasy team. But Joel Pozo came up, hit a bomb that was awesome,
That
and pimped
was.
it. Then flew out to the wall and pimped that one too. That one did not go out. And
No.
Pedro Paz has been really good. So shout out to those two for taking on the workload, but yeah, it sucks to be in this season where probably the one biggest bright spot so far has been Herrera looking like a superstar, and then we don't even get that. He's out for a month.
Yeah, let me ask you this: are you concerned? Because and get ranked from 1 to 5. 1 being not concerned at all, 5 being overly concerned, panic mode. With Brendan Donovan's defense and lapses of judgment out in the field, cost him 2 games, like 2 losses directly uh, by
Contributed
Brendan
to the
Donovan.
losses, yes.
Okay, if you want to be nice, yes, no. Like the throw home, dude. I'm telling you,
That
I
was
coached
stupid.
you. If you were 12 and you did that, you and I would have had a long talk on the way home after and in the dugout. That can't happen. Like that. That should. I couldn't believe I was watching that in Major League Baseball. Then the missed turn, which was after you watched Boston turn a sweet double play. That was an easy turn, and he just throws it up the line for no reason. Lets his
Yeah,
arm get down. Like I'm a
that's
little, and
that's a
then he had the
physical
third
thing
one,
though.
another mental issue in Boston as well. I'm a little,
Yeah,
I'm not putting it
picked
at a
off.
5, but I'm putting it at a 2 or maybe a
I'll put
3.
it if there's a number lower than 1, that's what I'd put it at.
Okay, I
Um,
appreciate that.
I I've watched Brendan Donovan play baseball. What is this? His fourth year? 20, yeah, fourth year. Um, he's probably, if you were to rank the smartest baseball players on this team, he's in the top 3. So I get that he made that mistake trying to do too much against the Angels. That's inexcusable in that situation. I think what happened there, like he was playing back. If he's playing in and it's just reactionary, you're playing in, I'm going home with the ball no matter what, and he's safe, that's fine. Like that was your play then. But he's playing back in double play, and it was in a double play depth and throws it home when he hadn't had a second and he had an easy out at first. Just take the out there. And then obviously we see Mike Trout hit the sac fly, which ended up really making it hurt and giving up 2 runs. That was inexcusable, but in terms of like worried, trying to do too much in a situation where he didn't need to.
Your microphone just did something very bizarre.
I don't know. Microphone sucks ass. Can you hear me?
There, I can hear you now. You went into Darth Vader mode for a minute there.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
You're back.
Okay, I'm
You're
back.
back. We're good. We're good. Okay. I appreciate.
Anyway,
I'm
I'm
gonna put
not
it
worried
at a
about him.
2. And the only reason I put it at a 2 is I do always worry, and we've seen it with so many players coming off of an ARB like stuff. And I'm not saying he's going to be impacted by that. He's hitting the ball very well. I just do worry. Like I just worried though, because I mean that's 2 games. Like that's 2 games that he directly impacted. Now I'm not going to say he was the reason, but he was a large part of those 2 games that you lost.
Yeah, there are things that can't happen. And that's baseball. Like those things happen. It was just weird. It was the same guy for multiple games. Like he got picked off
Yeah.
at second base. It was very weird stuff. I look like just trying to do too much, but like he's been. I mean, he has a 978 OPS to start the year. Um,
Right.
like I think he had 13 hits on that 6 game road trip.
Yep.
He's been awesome. So like those are things like yes, they're bad. You don't like them. Nor are they. And they're even more glaring. I think that it was him. Like if Mason Wynn, because he knows he's an athletic freak, if he tried to just unload one to home, I don't think any of us would be surprised if he did that and the guy was safe because he knows he has a
Yeah.
crazy arm. But when you have a guy like Donovan who's really made his money on being a smart baseball player and being a guy that doesn't chase, he doesn't make mistakes, he plays well everywhere. It's weird. But in turn, like I don't think mental errors are like a thing you have to worry about with him. I think it's just he just did it a couple times. It can't happen again.
Back to the Herrera injury. I wrote this down because I thought it was hilarious. I don't know if you saw the post game, I guess interview with Ali between the doubleheader and the reporter. I don't know who it was, but that asked him, "So is Pages going to catch game 2?" The look that Ali gave him was legitimately priceless, and honestly, kind of gave me chills because it scared me a little bit. Like and then And then the reporter tried to say, like, justify, well, we do have another catcher on the roster. Like, but the look that Ollie gave him was legitimately priceless. And I love it because I get asked dumb questions at the golf course every day, and my face doesn't hide much of anything. And at that moment, Ollie's face did not hide how dumb of a question that really was.
I mean, yeah, so he was talking about Contreras was the other option.
Bingo. Oh, well, that or Donovan. I don't know. That's the only other two
Donnie.
options.
Yeah, that's funny. Can we get to Wilson Contreras?
Yes, please.
What the hell's wrong with him?
Yeah, I don't know.
Slumps happen, but this is pathetic. Like the way
You think it's a different position?
No, the way he's approaching at bats is the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Like to
agreed.
the point to where it's like legitimately pathetic. And I'm a big Wilson Contreras fan. I might be a little bit more angry because he is killing my fantasy team currently. But 102 batting average, 170 OBP, 313 OPS. Okay, he's swinging at pitches that aren't even like remotely close to the plate.
Yeah, there was a
Like going
slider
up
the other
there,
night that was 4 feet outside.
like I get it against Skeens. You're gonna take bad swings against Paul Skeens. That's baseball. But he's down 0-2 every at bat because I'm not kidding. Watch his at bats over the last 6 games. He is swinging at the first 2 pitches no matter what. It's like he's just hoping he gets a fastball down the middle and hits it because he knows he has no chance on anything else. Not good enough, dude. Figure it out. This is not just a slump. Like, what do you do? Why are you up there swinging like this? You've got to move him out of the 2 hole for now.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I agree.
I've been very anti-reactionary, moving people up and down in order early in season. Like last year when people want to move Goldie after a week from the 3 hole. It ended up being right, but still I wouldn't have done that. You can't have him up there in big situations anymore. Like he's got to figure it out. Maybe take some pressure off him, even though we know if he's batting fifth in the first inning, he will come up with bases loaded and 1 out because
Right.
or 2 outs. But
Yeah, we agree.
it's bad. Like I was on Twitter the other day, like, no, you don't move him down. But it's just like he's not getting out of it. Like he's not even showing signs of getting out of it. I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Agreed. It's frustrating because last year by far your best hitter. You had high expectations for him coming in. I really do wonder if learning a new position, as that's where a lot of his focus has been. I don't know. I'm not
tired of the
going to make an excuse
excuses.
for him.
How about this?
I get it.
He's a baseball player. Play baseball.
It's a reason, but I get it.
Okay, so this different level, I get it. But when you played baseball, when you were playing second base, and then they're like, "Yo, go play third base today." Did you just forget to not swing at pitches 12 inches out of the strike zone?
I did not, but that was high school and college baseball. Like that's not.
But at what point did we stop giving these guys excuses?
Yeah, I get it.
Oh, you're learning your position, dude. You're playing first base. Get over it.
Totally, and I
All
think
you have to do is catch the ball.
Yeah, I do think the argument would be much more valid that I'm making if he was learning how to catch. Like then maybe because we know they lose reps in the cage and everything else. But like he's actually getting more reps in the cage.
Players do this. Players move positions. Dalton Varsho was a catcher and played center field. He didn't forget how to hit.
Right.
Like we do this every year. Donovan plays a different position every day.
Yeah.
Tommy Edman.
Well, but I get it. But Donovan's been doing that.
Played shortstop last year.
I understand. I'm just saying Donnie has been doing that. Willie has. I was just saying that could be a
Mookie Betts was a right fielder for 10 years and played shortstop last year and was one of the best players in the world.
Very valid point.
Like at what point? Just hit the ball.
It's time. It's time, no doubt about it. Before we switch gears and get to a few other things, one thing that I meant to point out on our last podcast, but did not, and I know that you wouldn't point it out, but the man sitting across from me is an Emmy Award winner, and I think that's pretty fucking awesome. So shout out to you for your hockey broadcast.
Well, my name wasn't on it.
Doesn't matter. You're right. Well, we know that they put just a couple names on it. So yeah, you were like, but still, that's pretty awesome.
I was a part of the team.
You are now an Emmy Award winner. That's all there is to it. You were an Emmy Award winner. It's going on our bio in our podcast.
No,
I'm just going to change it that says Emmy Award winning podcast now. That's what we'll do. But no, shout out. That's pretty awesome. You don't like to talk about it. I get it. But yeah, you told me when you got nominated, we'll never win. You won. That's pretty awesome. You're an Emmy Award winner. Shout out to you.
Okay. I don't want to. My name's not on it, so I'm not counting.
It doesn't matter. Dude, stop. No one cares. Like when the people that go up to get the Oscar for Best Movie, their name might not be on that either, but they're an Oscar award winner. You're an Emmy Award winner. I actually think we
won something else yesterday, too.
See, look at you. Now that's all coming out.
I don't know what it was.
Anyway, I just wanted to get to that.
It's gone. I don't know what it was.
Let's talk Paul Skeens for just a minute. 5 earned runs the Cardinals score against him. Not at any. He'd never given up 5 runs. Now, let me blow your mind a little bit more because not only did he not never had never done it at the major league level, he ended at the minor league level, and from what I read from LSU's post, he didn't do it at the college level either. Like that's unbelievable to think that he never gave up 5 earned runs in any game from the time he was college to the major leagues. Now, I'm gonna bet he probably didn't do it in high school either. If we want to get down to brass tacks, but Cardinals took some good at bats. Vic with a big hit, but to score 5 off Skeens, that is good. Like that's amazing. But it just does show you how awesome Paul Skeens really is. The GQ shoot with Holding, that was a very bizarre GQ shoot, but whatever.
If he's if he's if he's healthy, I think he has a chance to be the most dominant pitcher to ever live.
You know who he reminds me? That's a bold claim. He reminds me of Roger Clemens. Like that's who he reminds me of. That big lower
Mine was
half.
bold, but yours wasn't.
Well, I mean, you're
Roger
saying the
Clemens
best
is the most
ever.
dominant pitcher to ever live.
I'm okay, but he hasn't put up the numbers. That's all I'm saying. He hasn't done that. But that's who he reminds me of is a young Roger Clemens, no doubt about it.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys too. Like he throws 101, and if you look at the stats, like they're out there. If you throw over 95 miles per hour, the odds of your longevity being as long as you'd like aren't very high. He's a guy though. He's not DeGrom. Like DeGrom's a skinny, wiry guy that was throwing 100 every pitch. Skeens is built to throw 100. Like if you were to build a guy in a lab to be able to withstand what that toll that takes on your body to throw 100 miles per hour for 7 innings, I think Paul Skeens would pop out of that machine. So. He's just built for it. So he's incredible. And Carlos had a great approach against him. Like Brant Brown, the difference I think he's already made is palpable with the approach they have against these stars. They never look confused, except for I guess against Mitch Keller yesterday. And it just makes it even more frustrating that you score 5 runs off the most dominant pitcher in baseball since he debuted, probably, other than maybe Tarek Skubal. And you then lose a game where you score only 2 runs in 13 innings or 1 run in 13 innings.
Yeah, crazy, crazy. What bigger impact? Brant Brown being the hitting coach or Turner Ward not being the hitting coach?
I think Turner Ward hates the Cardinals organization. Like I feel bad for that guy, but my goodness, he was so bad at his job. Like
Yeah.
Like you can't say that maybe he hurt guys, but I can say I think comfortably now, even just a couple weeks in, that he never helped anybody.
Yeah, it does feel that way, and I don't want to. I'm not in those meetings. I'm not in there with him. I obviously that's Goldie's guy. I'm not going to do all of that, but I do
He couldn't
completely.
help Goldie.
Like,
He couldn't help Goldie.
If you want to look at what's happening, I do get it. Hey,
Paul Goldschmidt, by the way, having a great start to the year.
One thing we can say also about the Cardinals pitching staff, especially in Boston, boy, they really did get Rafael Devers off the snide, didn't they? And got Breggy hot too.
Breggy was player of the week. He had a really good week.
Yeah.
Devers was starting to come out of it. I was watching. They were playing the Orioles in a day game the day before the Cardinals played them on Friday, so Thursday, and I was watching the game, and Devers took like 3 sliders on the dirt and then hit a fastball for a double, and I literally looked at Grace and said, "Oh shit, he he might be back." Rafael Devers is a great hitter, legitimately a great hitter. He's gonna figure it out, and it just sucks he figured it out before the Cardinals.
Give me your thoughts, as we love this man dearly, but give me your thoughts on the Pop Warner wave home yesterday.
He single-handedly cost them that game. Not single-handedly because the offense didn't score in 9 innings, but like if he doesn't do that, they win the game. So, if you're a third base coach, you just can't mess up. And Pop Warner, he was my hitting coach for those of you who don't know. So I knew him for a couple years. I'm not going to say I'm close. I doubt he remembers me. Regardless.
He does.
Regardless, he's been around baseball forever. Like we're talking about, he was Matt Carpenter's hitting coach in the minor leagues. That's how long he's been in the Cardinal organization, and he deserves a lot of respect for that. He should not be the third base coach anymore.
How are we feeling about Michael Ciani still being on this team?
Fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Honestly, it doesn't bother me. I think it bothers me a lot less because by the way, I want to clarify. I think Pop Warner should be on the coaching staff. I just don't think he should be at third base. I think they should put somebody else there. But for Michael Ciani, I would be more annoyed by it if I didn't think that they shouldn't be pinch hitting for their hitters. Like, I don't think they should be pinch hitting for these young guys. So
They
Max Kaperniak, like, he really doesn't do anything for you. Matt Kaperniak,
did
I
you
don't know
call
why I
him
said that.
Max?
Yeah, on accident. Matt Kaperniak wouldn't be doing much for you if, let's say Victor Scott and Mason Winter coming up in a big spot in the 8-9 hole, and you're just not going to pinch hit for them anyway. Like, what's he serving them?
They do continue to do exactly what you love, and that is move Victor Scott to right field when Siani comes in. Your favorite move
Yeah,
today.
and I just don't like. I just wish you. I get it. Siani's made some great plays in center field when that's happened, and Siani is a better defensive center fielder right now than Victor Scott. But um, I don't like it. Just Victor Scott's your center fielder of the future, and in 3 years down the road, you don't want to be taking him out of games in the ninth inning because he's not a slugger, so you're not having him in there solely for his bat. So that's definitely not what you want to do. He's not Lars Nootbaar. He's not Tyler O'Neill. I don't like it, but it is what it is.
Now, give me as we're gonna get. Let's switch over to the series a little bit. It's coming up. You're going to 2 games. Are you going to 2 games?
Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
So guess who I get to watch?
How do you feel about getting to see Miles Mikolas pitch against the Philadelphia Phillies?
I'm wearing my Bryce Harper jersey because he's going yard.
Are you sitting in right field?
No, I think I'm sitting in left center. So
Okay,
I'll get one from Real
he might go Oppo.
He does that. He can do it.
So if you look at their schedule, like and a team that's reeling right now with a pitching staff, you don't love seeing Philadelphia, Houston, the Mets, and the Braves. Now I know the Braves are off to not a great start. I understand that. But those are not 4 lineups that I would want to face with this pitching staff. And the fact that we go into with Pallante, Mikolas, and Liberatore against the Phillies has to give everybody a little pause on going downtown to a game. Who people are going anyway. Like, let's be honest.
Or hopefully you go and see, some really good baseball players that are playing for the Phillies if you want
And
to do
please
that.
understand, I want you to go. I want people to go. You're missing out on getting to see Major League Baseball, which I can't go see right here. So I miss that.
And what you just said about the good competition coming up is what makes the last 3 series so frustrating. Boston's a good team, but you can't get swept. They should have won game 2. Helsley had a blow up. That sucks. Like, if you go to Boston against this Red Sox team, which I think is pretty good, I think they're going to be a really good team this year, and you lose 2 of 3, fine. But then you got swept. You can't do that.
Can I add, especially when you don't face Crochet
or
Houck.
Tanner Houck? Yeah. And Bayo's hurt, and Cutter Crawford's not pitching. Like, you faced Sean Newcomb.
Right.
I didn't even know he was in the league. And Walker Buehler, who they lit up, which was impressive. And then obviously the losing a series to the Angels at home can never happen. Losing a series to the Pirates where you beat Paul Skeens, that can't happen. Like, if you lose a series to the Pirates and you lose a game to Paul Skeens, okay, I understand that can happen. But you beat him. You beat the guy you weren't supposed to beat, and you lost the other 2 games. They didn't take advantage of their easy stretch to start the year, so now they've got to go and play well against good teams. See what happens.
Yeah, right. So let's talk about
who are the pitchers coming up?
I was going to look at that. I meant to look at that earlier.
I think they face Wheeler. Nola. Who's off to a rough start. Christopher Sanchez and Zach Wheeler. So they're 3 best pitchers.
Yep. They're going to get swept. That's my prediction.
Here, okay. I'm going to say they win 1 of 3 because I'm going to a game in back-to-back days, and I would like them to win 1 of them. Which night are
you wearing the Harper jersey? Saturday?
When Mikolas pitches, for sure.
That day game?
Yeah.
Oh, the Phillies are going to score 18 runs that game.
I'm wearing my Bryce Harper jersey.
Yeah, smart.
I'm going to buy a Phillies hat at the game. They won't have one, but I'm going to go to Lids before.
Go to Lids, yeah.
Yeah, I think they win 1 of 3, and if I were a betting man, I would say they win the first one.
Okay, against Aaron Nola. All right, interesting.
They've hit him pretty well in the past. He's off to a weird start.
Can I just say that I have no doubt in my mind that they'll probably hit him well. I have zero faith in my heart that the Cardinals can get the Phillies out.
Is it Pallante?
So there we go. Yeah, Pallante game 1. He'll be okay.
I do too.
I do too. But also, can we be honest? He's a lot better if he's a 4 or a 5 in a rotation than a 3. Like, if we're gonna be honest.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter on an individual game basis.
I'm gonna say that I'm gonna say they get swept. Like, I just don't.
I mean, it's definitely possible.
Yeah, with Miles and Libby going against the Phillies, like I just don't have any.
I will say about Libby, the good news about he gets to kind of neutralize 2 of their best hitters because he's great against lefties.
Do you think he's going to neutralize Bryce Harper, or do you think though they might give Harper a day off on Sunday? They might have already taken 2 games, and Bryce might sit on Sunday.
I mean,
Like, to be
that's
honest with
also a
you,
win for the Cardinals if that happens. But
sure.
So Harper and Schwarber, I don't like if we were in the eighth inning of a game up by 2 and there was a lane where Harper and Schwarber were coming up, I'd feel confident with Libby going in. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
Because he's really good against lefties. He's like dynamic against left-handed batters. Did you see it? By the way, speaking of the Phillies, do you see Edmundo Sosa's first inning in the outfield in his career? He robbed
I
Marcell Ozuna of a home run.
Yeah, I did. Yep.
Made a better play than what Ozuna ever made in the outfield on his first one. That's so funny to me.
Anything else you want to get to with the Cardinals? I got a few things before we get out of here. Anything
Hitter of the
else?
series.
Do what?
Hitter of the series.
So Nola, Sanchez, Wheeler.
Righty, lefty, righty.
Um, I'll go with your boy Brendan Donovan. Like he's hit, like that's fine. At least I think he can give you a good at bat against Sanchez, who by the way is filthy. If you haven't watched Christopher Sanchez, I mean,
Really good.
we love Zach Wheeler. I've always been a Zach Wheeler fan. Aaron Nola holds a massively soft spot in my heart as he went right up the road to LSU.
Should have been a Cardinal.
Massive LSU baseball fan, who by the way, they're rolling right now. But it I Christopher Sanchez might be their best pitcher. He might be their best pitcher.
Zach Wheeler's a top 3 pitcher on the planet.
I'm saying right now, the way Christopher Sanchez is throwing the ball, okay, fine. When it's all said and done, it might be Christopher Sanchez.
Zach Wheeler's a top 5 playoff pitcher I've ever seen in my life.
He's very good. Like, I'm not trying to put him down.
He doesn't give up runs.
Sanchez here.
I get it, but Zach Wheeler just sometimes decides I'm not giving up a run today and goes 9 innings on 95 pitches and doesn't give up a run.
It does.
He's
feel
awesome.
That way.
And remember, people thought that contract was an overpay. It's the best contract.
Who are you going with the hitter?
2 righties and a lefty. Newt's had some really good stats against lefties, and I like him against righties, so I'll go with Newt.
Okay. Nado's kind of fallen off a little bit, which we did kind of sort
Power's
of expect. Power does seem to be gone.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was still like 15th in batting average in the baseball. Yeah. So he's still doing some things fine. I don't think in an ideal world you would have a 4 hitter that isn't him, and he'd be like your 6 hitter, and you'd like what he's doing. But hopefully maybe he'll hit a couple homers this series. We don't know.
Did I see Jordan Walker was hitting second the other night? Was that a
No,
I missed. Okay, maybe I saw somebody put a lineup out there that was like that.
Yvonne batted second.
Can I tell you something? I switched over. I got on Twitter one night. I can't do it. There's people calling out Derek Gould. I can't do it.
Because he said you wouldn't DFA Michaelis, you would just release him, and people didn't understand what that means. You're not going to DFA him and send him through waivers. He's not going to want to go through waivers. And
then the comments, like the people just going after, I'm like, this is one of the best baseball. We are lucky to have Derek Gould. If you don't like him, that you don't like him.
He's also a nice guy. Like he can be condescending at times across Twitter, but
wouldn't you be?
But I also don't even know if that's he's very matter of fact, and I think that comes across as condescending. But it's hard to convey, and I found this out by being on Twitter a lot. It's really hard to convey exactly what you mean on Twitter. Even if it's like a joke, or if you're just like, I don't even want to try and beat around the bush. I'm just going to tell you what I think. And I think Derek Gould's he's going to go in the Baseball Hall of Fame, like for sure. He's great at his job. And he's covered the Cardinals since Albert Pujols' rookie year, maybe even before that. And he's done a great job. So I like Derek Gould a lot.
Same.
He's always been very nice to me too. So.
I say that to say I will go on to do things on our website page, but I will not do it. I just can't. I couldn't do it.
It's just frustrating. Like, it's nice to get news on there, but then also like I'm getting all this political stuff that I definitely don't want to see right now with everything going on. And
they weaving them in, like they're like sandwiching them. I go to following and every other thing. I don't get it.
I had to block Elon Musk because he legitimately pumps out his tweets to every single person on Twitter. So I couldn't go 5 scrolls without seeing 3 of his tweets about Cybertrucks and tariffs. So I had to block him. I was like, I can't keep doing this.
And people bullying the poor guy. But yes, I'm same way. Now just a few things about the podcast. Again, thank you for listening and thank you for watching. Hit that follow, hit that subscribe button, whatever button looks like it's good. That's the one we want you to hit. We will be back on Sunday to go break down the Phillies series, and we're gonna also record our first Major League Baseball pod, which we will put out, I think, on Monday. Correct?
That works.
Yeah. Got a lot to talk about around the league. I think it'll be good because you'll have about 15, 16 games in. A lot of cool things to talk about that are going on in Major League Baseball right now. If you're not watching other teams, there's some good baseball being played out there.
Yeah, there is. And there's some cool story like Vlad Guerrero. Like I know we'll talk about that later,
Yep,
but um, I can we talk about it for 1 second because I have something I want to say about it.
absolutely.
$325 million signing bonus.
Yes.
And it's so funny because it was a signing bonus, but it gets paid out over 14 years, so it wasn't a signing bonus. And he only labeled it a signing bonus because now he gets taxed with Florida, so it's no
Bingo.
income tax on 325. The whole
Bingo.
time when I saw that, I was like, I wonder why he didn't push for like 425. Like so he didn't get taxed on more of his
Yeah.
contract. That's
Yeah.
that's crazy. Good for
Yeah. I
Toronto,
think,
good for Vlad.
and then we'll talk a little bit. Seeing Max versus Jack was electric. That was fantastic. Max Fried versus Flaherty. I mean, so we'll talk about that. A lot to talk about. So we'll be, like I said, we'll break down the Philly series and then we'll release that on Sunday. And then Monday we'll release our first. I want to call it This Week in Baseball, but I feel like we can't do
We
that because of
can't
Mel
do
Allen.
that. Dude, be more creative than that.
I'm kidding. But
We're gonna call it
we need
intentional
that.
talk.
We need, no, 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 no. That show
Quick
is gone.
pitch. Oh, don't do
Shout out
that.
Chris Rose, my guy. That was the
I
best when
love
he
Chris
was on there.
Rose. That is my guy.
All right, just a few things I want to hit on, and then we can get out of here. A few shout outs I've got. Shout out to Ovechkin, first of all.
Ovi.
That was incredible. The guy who eats nothing but chicken parm, Subway, and hot Cheetos. Like
Drink soda during games.
yeah, like he's pounding heaters in the like. I'm watching Shorzy right now. He's either popping dips or smoking heaters in the clubhouse too. That was awesome to see. Very, very cool moment. And the fact that it just aligned so closely with the stats with Gretzky as far as the goals and the games played. Very cool moment for the NHL. Very, very, very pumped for Ovechkin. I don't know if we'll see it. I mean, maybe one day because guys are coming into the league so much younger. But I
Austin
think it's going to be
Matthews
a
is the one
while.
to look out for.
Yeah, because they said Crosby, he'd be like 44 by the time he could break it. So
Yeah, he won't. He's not a goal scorer. Austin Matthews is a guy that could go on like a 4-year stretch of scoring 60 every year
yeah,
if he stays healthy.
McDavid and
But
Draisaitl, I think that they've got an outside shot, but I think it's way outside.
those two. That's the thing that's crazy about Gretzky was he wasn't a shooter and he did that.
I
Like
know.
those guys are in the same boat. They're not like except for Draisaitl this year, but they're mostly playmakers. Yeah, I think I might be the craziest record we've seen broken in my lifetime.
Huh. That's interesting.
Because I don't remember. Was I alive when Barry? I was alive when Barry broke the record, but I don't remember it. So maybe
No,
that
you
could
would
be up
not have
there.
remembered it. Yeah.
And I think not to take anything away from LeBron James, but that's less crazy to me because of how the game changed to shooting more threes and all that.
Correct.
With Ovi, like the game's changed against him. Like the goalies have gotten so much better. They've gotten bigger. They've got better gear now than when Gretzky played. Like it was less likely for him to get that record now than it was for when Gretzky did it. And I think with other sports like LeBron, it's more likely to score more points than it
Now,
was
now
back when
with
Curry
the
did it.
NHL a little bit, what I will say is it does feel like the ice has opened up a little bit from what it used to be. There's definitely they've changed a few of the rules to open that up. They're not in the Olympic style yet or the European style, but it does feel like we're skating faster than back in the day where it's more of
Yeah,
a
because the
grind
athletes are
and a
better.
muck day. Right. So Ovechkin, that helps Ovechkin. The one stat, like Gretzky still like is he broke his
He's the
record.
GOAT.
He's the GOAT. I think I saw that Ovechkin in his career has 12 shorthanded goals and Gretzky had 73. 73 shorthanded goals.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
Like that stuff's not going to happen today.
no, no, no.
Like as much as
So
like I don't want to take away from Wayne Gretzky, but I think we get in this like he is the greatest player of all time. No one's ever going to reach his assist or point total. We all know that. But you can't tell me that there's not been any players since Wayne Gretzky that are as talented as Wayne Gretzky was. Connor
I think
McDavid is more talented. So
Mario Lemieux, Yamir Yager. I mean, I think that those were the
yeah,
arguments
I
back
mean
in the
Yager's
day.
still playing overseas.
Right.
But
So
my whole point is I think we get really caught up in those stats and like 73 shorthanded goals. Like that wouldn't happen today. Ryan
no,
Suter scored his second yesterday
I know.
ever, and he
I
has
know.
like 1,600 games played almost. So
I do think we would be remiss, and I don't want to like bring the tone down a little bit, but if we didn't give a RIP to Octavio Dotel, what happened down in the Dominican is absolutely heart wrenching, and the fact that there are still people missing is frightening. And I think it was it the mayor of the town who died, but also was the one who sent out the like 911 essentially call that something was going on right before she died. Like it's heart wrenching. I know. I'm Nelson Cruz's sister was part of that. There was another guy that I didn't recognize his name. That doesn't mean that it's devalued
The
or
singer.
anyone's devalued there. But the Octavio Dotel move in 2011 was one of those, like that trade, along with a couple other moves that the Cardinals made that year, helped lead them to that World Series. And by all accounts, every person you talk to, and this has been a thing his entire career, and now what's the posthumously? Sorry, had to come up with the word. Is that he was like just the guy. Like everybody loved Octavio Dotel, gone way too soon, and just, I mean, it just breaks your heart when you hear about what happened down there.
Yeah, it's horrible. And I have a story actually. So when I was working at Busch Stadium in 2021, it was the 10-year anniversary of that World Series team. So everyone came and they rode on the trucks around the outfield. And I was working that day. And Adron Chambers, like one of the biggest characters I've ever met in my life, was sitting on the truck yelling at people about how he would hit, how he was a better hitter than them. I think he was joking. And I heard someone scream, "Hey!" from the back. It was Octavio Dotel, and he said, "Shut the fuck up." He said you couldn't hit anything, so it was funny. He seemed like an awesome guy. That was the only thing any experience I ever had with him. But yeah, really sad. You saw the outpouring from like Adam Wainwright. I know had a really cool tweet about him.
Yeah,
Just horrible and like so unlucky and unfortunate to be in that building at that time when that
I
happened. It's
know.
awful.
I know. Absolutely awful. Last two things, and then we'll get out of here. I guess one shout out to the Florida Gators. I'm not a Florida Gators fan. They did win me the family bracket, the Noble family bracket. They also won me money in the Ranch House bracket. So shout out to that team's fun to watch. If the Pels don't get Cooper Flag, I won't be mad if we end up with Walter Clayton Jr. for the next 10 years.
He's not going second overall or third.
Why we don't know that the Pels are going to be
I think
drafted
we're gonna get
second
one of those
overall.
guards from Rutgers.
Yeah, it could be. I'd rather have Walter Clayton Jr. That dude can play.
He's a
But
stud. That was a really good run. Kind of sucked to see four number one seeds in the final four, but it also made for some really good games. So
yeah, the Final Four, electric. All three games were electric. Finally, NFL draft starts tonight. Am I correct on that?
it does it.
I think so. Is that right? I think it starts tonight.
Oh my
Or
god,
is
that
it
snuck up on me.
or is it next Thursday? Ugh, should know that.
There's no way it's tonight. It starts April 24th.
I wasn't even close. 2 weeks.
I
A
was like,
lot of
there's no
I thought
way.
I read those tonight. I was like, haven't heard that, but I was like, well, maybe they were right. So 2 weeks, we can talk about the draft later. We don't have to get into a lot of
Jackson
that.
Dart's gonna be a Saint.
Oh, jeez.
I really do think he is.
All right, all right. I don't like any of that talk. All right.
I
Anything
like
else you
Jackson
got
Dart.
before we get out of here?
Nope.
Okay. Go down to the ball yard. If you see Caleb
Stop showing it that.
in his Bryce Harper jersey, and he might have a mask on also, like to hide his whatever fandom there. But go give him a big high five and a shout out to his Emmy Award, and also his Bryce Harper jersey, which I didn't even know you owned. Bryce Harper's been my guy since he was like,
That's not true. Bryce Harper was my favorite player my entire childhood.
well, I knew about Bryce
I
Harper
had a
way before
shirt when I
you.
was like 8 that said "That's a clown question, bro." Like, what are you
anyway,
talking about?
anyway, go down to the ball yard, support the team. I don't think people will, but they should go down and
I
support
will.
the team. I think it could be a rough 3 days for the Cards, but hopefully not. So we will be back Sunday to break down the series, and we will talk to you soon. Go Cards.